All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the coffee run on a Friday. Normally, Fridays on the coffee run, we just do like a Friday follies, kind of just have some stupid fun thing. But we missed yesterday. We missed yesterday. There was no shows yesterday. As you probably all were. I know you all missed me so much. But yeah, we missed our shows because I was busy buying a house. And you know, we're in. This is the one thing about my show. Um, Hopefully, we're all good enough friends now, right? We're just kind of sharing. I overshare, right? So you all know all the aspects of my life. So yeah, we were out buying that house. And I'm talking about this for a long time. We bought it. Weird thing yesterday. We had to go for the, you buy a house, you go to closing. I thought closing was going to be here at the title company where we were doing all the paperwork with this whole time. Turns out we had to close there. So last minute, we found out the night before we had to be in Wenatchee at 8:30 in the morning for signing, which is a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive. So we had to leave here at 5. So no shows yesterday because I was in the car going over there and doing the thing. But check it out. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I know you're also curious about my personal life. Here we go. There's the house, baby. That's the view. I showed some people yesterday over text message this view, but that's the view from the backside of my house. That's the off my deck. We walked into this house, and it's a beautiful house anyway. But you see so many houses when you're shopping, right? And we walked outside of the kitchen and opened the slider, and that's what hit me in the face. That view, I'm like, oh my God, that's the Wenatchee River there. The mountains that are behind where the sun is are snow-capped. That's the Cascades. They have snow on them all the time. So there's always a snow-capped view in the back. Yeah, so we looked at that view. I'm like, okay, sign me up. Who gets the check? Like that's how that whole thing went, right? It's a beautiful house. So we did it. We're done. Now we're going to be moving. And the note on this is, and why I tell you all this is because next week, I'm taking the craps table out next week. I think we're taking the craps table from the garage over there a week early. This studio here, I'm going to break it down probably on Thursday next week ahead of moving over the weekend. So probably no shows Thursday or Friday next week, and probably no shows the following week. We're going to be off for probably 6 or 7 days. So normally when I'm off for that period of time, I'll pre-record some stuff just so you have something to watch. What I might do is kind of an Ed Robinson style, what do you call it? Like not really a reaction video, but I found some great videos. I was actually on a binge last night watching some math stuff on roulette specific things. And a couple of these videos that I watched last night, I thought were amazing. Like very nerdy, very mathy, very like, oh God, this, whatever. But they're talking about gambler's fallacy. They're talking about the law of large numbers and the small run and all the things that I talk about. And it's funny, there's actually a mathematician guy that I actually think is completely wrong on one of his points. And what I kind of want to do is almost assign you all homework. Like I'm going to say here, I'll actually put a video of those things playing and I'll kind of respond to as we go, like a reaction style thing, but it's not a reaction thing. It's just more of I think they make great points. I want to talk about the points with you, and that'll be the shows while I'm gone. They'll be short ones, but I think there's videos out there that I think are very important that we all see, and that you're very important for all of you to understand some of the things, like the theory and the math behind some of the things that I say, and the things that the math people say. And it's funny because when you watch these things, you're like, they are so like math people can be very dogmatic about this is just the way it is. And other people are very dogmatic the other way. When you watch a math guy break this stuff down, you go, okay, I can see why you're dogmatic, but I can also see where you're wrong. Right. And there's one video where he talks about the small sample being a problem. And I'll actually give you a quick preview of it. So think about this, right? If you've got a really small sample size, you're more likely to run into the edges. Okay. So for example, if you've got 1,000 marbles in a bowl or 100 marbles, let's say in a bucket, half are red and half are white, and you're going to pull 4 marbles out, right? You can get 1 red, 2 reds, 3 reds, or no reds, right? With 4 marbles. And the chances of you doing that are whatever the percent, I think it's like 25% chance of getting each one of them, whatever the numbers are. There's a finite chance that you're going to see no reds or all reds, right? Those are the extremes. There's a good chance. I think it's like a 22% chance. I forget what the guy said, and it doesn't matter. There's some percentage of time you're going to see all of one. You're going to hit the endpoints. You're going to see the extremes. If you increase that's a short run. If you increase your sample size to 8 marbles, double the sample size, right? The likelihood of you getting all 8 reds or all 8 whites goes way down. It's like 2%. because you're increasing the sample out of the thing, right? It's harder to do that. That's large numbers. That's the law of this is why if you look at the total number of marbles, there's 50 and 50. The more marbles you're pulling, the more likely you're going to be 50-50. You're not going to really see 8 and 0, 8 and 0 as often. You're going to see you're going to be in that mean section most of the time. And that's true, right? Law of big numbers versus the short run. Gamblers always say this in the short run, the math don't matter because we're going to see, and you do it, right? You see the big swings, all the wins, all the losses, right? In those short runs. That's my morning show, right? That's the YOLO. And he says, so therefore, and he lands on the long run as being the way. The example that he gives to support the argument is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they did a survey, and they found that the most successful schools were smaller schools, right? Hence the small run, right? The best outcomes came from the smallest schools. If you look at the marble example, that's true because there are less students, 10 students in a class with 2 teachers, right? All the great outcomes come, right? Those schools of that size also produce the worst students, and they didn't account for that. Bill Gates, of all people, didn't account for the fact that in a small sample size, you're going to see the best and the worst more often, right? It's basically 50-50, all good or all bad, versus the bigger public school system living in the mean, where most of the outcomes are going to be kind of in the middle. And the question is, do you want to accept mediocrity, living in the middle? Math guy will say that's where you have to plan for, right? The Gates Foundation declared that, oh, we got it wrong. We should have been here in the middle all the time and optimizing for the mean. I would say to you, if you've got extremes on both sides of it, optimize for the good extreme and eliminate the bad extreme. Take the small school problem and let's say, yeah, you're going to have the best and the worst in these small sample size. Let's optimize for the best. Let's minimize the worst. And that's what I do on my shows. That's why I say I'm a lifetime winner, because I optimize for the good and I minimize the bad. I do things I think that make the bad cases less likely to come. Not supported by the math. I get it. That's my mindset, right? And I'll show you a video next week where he breaks it down. It's like a 20-minute video. Anyway, you'll love it. You'll love it. Trust me. Next week's going to be school. All right. And while I'm gone. Anyway, there you go. Let's see. Ryan's on a cruise starting something, going through some things. I'm not moving to Vegas anytime soon. My Vegas plans, this is going to be, let's just sit back and talk about John's life. My Vegas plans are this. I'm going to be, hopefully, cross my fingers and your fingers, working there at least part-time very soon. I have a plan to work in Vegas at the very minimum on weekends, right? Just be a weekender in Vegas, not gambling for a living, but working for dealing and other things. If that works out, I'll be going there every weekend, probably going there for a weekend, staying the week, working the weekend, coming home, kind of a thing, right? I'll be there like 2 weekends, whatever it's going to be. In that case, I'll probably stay at a casino for the first 4 or 5 months of it, because I can stay for free. And as long as I gamble on my coffee run on the way, if I get up in the morning, coffee run it on the way out to work every day, I'll be fine. But yeah, after that system that I've got planned there takes off a little bit, then I will buy a condo and be able to stay in a real condo in Vegas. And my wife and I will then do halfway. We'll do a week or 2 a month in Vegas, a week or 2 a month here, maybe 6 months in 6 months. That's the long-term plan. But short-term, probably every weekend or every other weekend at minimum, starting in about a month. That's my plan. So and I'll be there all the time. I'll be in Vegas all the freaking time. So when Dan, Dan's gonna get tired of having pho with me, and breakfast. So there we go. What else is being said? Let's see. Let me go here. Let me go to my next screen. No updates yet. I, again, took a day off yesterday, so I haven't asked anybody for Craps for the Cure. I'll talk to Don today, and maybe Monday we'll have an update, hopefully. Paycheck today, no updates on the paycheck at all, because today was Friday Follies. I didn't play yesterday. Today was Friday Follies. We did not ease in today at all. We did the hit it and get it. Matter of fact, I took my $7,000 buy-in. I went 6,600 inside with it. Did the skill 66 at the big boy level. Little 4 and 10 action for fun on the outsides. Made $5,000. The skill 66 makes $50, as you know, right? So taking that thing and making it $50, when you triple size it, you make $5,000. I made $5,000 twice today with that thing. It was pretty fun. That's an all or nothing play. That's win 5K or lose 7K. That's how that system works, right? And about half the time, 2/3 of the time, you're going to win it. So the ratio actually isn't terrible on that one. I'm going to do some numbers on that and see if I can. Maybe we'll switch to that for a week and see what happens. I don't know. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary to lose that kind of money, but winning $5,000 at a shot is also kind of fun. I may just alter my bet sizing and do like a 330, but like a 3,300 inside, and do like a 330 to 440 and out, and have that be my paycheck play, and just have that be a one shotter. So we'll talk about it more next week as we get into it. But yeah, nothing new to report on the paycheck today. Let's see. Skill says Dave and Alice will hook me up too. In what way? You mean like employment wise, or I mean, I'm gonna go train with the part of the plan is to go train with David. Train with David to deal. I want to learn how to be a dealer, and he's gonna polish me up and get me an audition for sure. So Kevin Smith, I have not tried the mineral spirits yet. The thing with the tape, I can't show it to you, but it's like, again, a little TMI here, but the tape that I use, it's like a rubber. It's like about a 1/8 of an inch thick rubber, double-sided. So it's like, it was supposed to be like this. It's almost like gummy, right? But it's stuck hard to the wall. So I have not tried it. Maybe we should talk privately about how to apply the mineral spirits. I don't want to jack the paint up if I can help it. So appreciate the tip, but yeah, we got to talk more about that. All right, let's get into today's lesson. The lesson plan for today. And again, questions you've got, always welcome. Okay, always welcome. We're getting into like the hardcore stuff now, right? And this is going to be probably seen today as a weird way of thinking about the games. Okay. Still keeping our goals in mind, keeping strategy, accounting for your wins. I know that some people, Toro, hate the word strategy. And we defined strategy a few weeks back, right? Strategy is nothing more than how much money are you putting out, where are you putting your money, and how are you bringing it back? That's what strategy is. We give them fancy names because we don't want to forget what they are. The real thing with strategies is that we give them names because otherwise you'll get lost in the sauce, right? Whatever you're doing out there, putting your money on the inside, pressing it up once and running away, you want to call it a strategy or a play plan, I don't care, right? But that accounts for the way I want to win. Today, I tried to do a big inside bet, give it one all the way press, and then go home with it, right? That's a strategy. So it's just where my money goes, what I'm betting on, and what I'm doing when I win. That's it. That's how I account for the way I win. My bankroll accounts for the loss. Today, I put the entire bankroll at risk. I'm going to do the whole, we're all or nothing today, right? That's an okay way of doing it, right? If you got the bankroll for it. If you want to handle your losses piecemeal and kind of grind them up a little bit, negative pressures off. Cool. Bankroll leads you in the direction you want to go. How you connect those two together, though, is where it comes down to, right? Do you want to be the grinder? Skill asked me today, do I want to grind myself into oblivion? Go $25 and $30 in odds and grind that thing all the way to hell and back for 3 hours, or and still maybe lose the $7,000, or put the $7,000 at risk and just take my shot and like Russian roulette the thing every day, right? There's, again, mindset puts that together, and your discipline is what locks it up, right? You cannot break that. If you're going to be a disciplined gambler, you got to stay in stride. Okay. So here we go. New person here, roulette, profit and stop. Good to see you. I have the whole set of roulette videos to come out next week. You'll probably be a person that loves that. I'm going to talk roulette today, but I can't demo it. What I was going to talk about, just because I can't. I have my tables put away because of the move. Anyway, here we go. Session 16 in 401. My goodness, we are cruising along here. So we're going to talk today about merging play styles. In session 15, we talked about combining play styles. Today, we're going to talk about merging play styles, and there's a nuance to that, okay? And if we look at, and I think every game fits this core ways to play. There's only a couple ways you can do gambling, right? I don't care if it's roulette, if it's blackjack, if it's baccarat, if it's my game craps. You can start your bets out small, and you can build them up. As you win, you can press your wins partially or fully and use leverage to make more money on the wins. You can start small and ladder up your losses, right? But starting small, saying, I'm going to scope my loss to this baseline size, right? That's one way to play. You can start with a regular medium-sized bet and collect every time. Like if my goal is to bring $50 off the table on every result, bet $50 and take the result off, right? That's same bet at a level you want to be. That's fine. Same betting is a powerful way to play. In a game like craps, especially where the runs are here, right? The same better in those short outcome stretches does better than everybody else. No shame in that, right? Get to a level that you're happy with and collect all the time, right? You can alternately start high and regress, right? You can go in craps 330 or 320 across, take one hit for $70, come back down and play with $64, right? In roulette, $100 on the black, get the win, go $50 or $25 in two different dozens, right? Those kind of things, the regression systems are powerful because you lock up money and get to keep playing, right? How you employ those things together, how you merge them together, that's how we attack. And that's, I think, again, that's what makes us dangerous people to a casino. Within those systems, within those core play styles, right? There are these subgenres or subsets of it, right? Same bet, slow and steady, always be collecting. You can regress, start big, win, and play with your spread. Okay. You can press and leverage profits. You can progress your bets on a system, right? Like a parlay, 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 back to base, parlay, 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 back to base, and bring back massive cash. You can do a 1, 3, 2, 4. You can do all sorts of positive progressions that are meant to say, in a given outcome series of 3 or 4 wins in a row, I'm going to destroy this casino, right? Positive progressions scope your loss and they hammer the wins, but it takes a special thing, as you know. You can be a negative progression. Most roulette systems, negative progressions. We're going to martingale, we're going to Dale and Bear, we're going to do whatever, right? You chase loss. This is a more of an impact on your bankroll because your base bet isn't your only risk. With a positive progression, your base bet is your only risk. With a negative progression, you're always pulling out of your stack to increase the bet sizes every single time. Now, when it wins, you're back and you're okay. But again, those things are variations of what I would say are the core styles of play. Okay. Now, we're going to talk today about merging or morphing strategies. And these are fun ways to play. I don't know if they're the most profitable ways to play, but they're definitely ways that you can, quote unquote, bob and weave and make moves during your play, merging stuff, synchronizing, harmonizing, melding multiple play styles into one. Okay. I've got the one thing leads to another song in my head when I wrote the slide last night, but really this is like purposeful or directional play. I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. One would be in craps, of course, right? My game of choice. Come and place bets, paid as you play. Okay. Put a place bet. Let's just take one example. Place bet on the 5. You put a come bet. Let's say you roll a 5, right? The 5 gets paid $35 and comes down. The come bet moves into the 5. You can take the 30 of your $35 and put it on top of the come bet as your odds, right? And what comes back into your rack is your original bet plus $5. You've got now a $25 base bet and a $30 odds bet, all for the price of $20, right? Those kind of things where you're paying for stuff as you go. You transition from this way to that way in midstream. It isn't like you're going to go all out, take one giant hit and come all the way back down again. You got bets out there that sort of pay for each other as you go, right? You're morphing from transition A to transition B. A negative transition like the I can't believe this wins or the negative iron cross. And I can show you some of these as we go here. Those are ways that you're going to transition from light side to dark side in craps. You're going to take your wins and get different action with your wins. It's not a regression, it's a move. You're moving from here to there. And these things, again, when they catch the quote unquote perfect run, they're fantastic. You can get destroyed this way, but by and large, these types of transition plays are oftentimes ties, right? It's a way to kind of just grind and do your thing for a long time. The negative cross is the same thing. Take your field wins, move them to the DC. You get small action on the 7 that takes care of some of the things you didn't collect on the way through. Those are just ways to kind of transition through. And again, you're merging multiple ways. You're merging a don't come system with an iron cross. You're not playing them at the same time. You're moving from one into the other. That's a merge play. Regressions are merge plays too. The skill 66 is a merge play, right? Inside bets, press them up, come down into something else. That move that you make, the move that you make when you get paid on the 66 is the merge, right? That $50 that you win when it works. And again, when that system works, it wins $50 or 500 or 5,000, depending on your bet size. That $50, what you do with that is the move. You can transition just right into same betting place bets. You can transition to doing a DC strategy, you can take that and go into the come with it. You can take that and do some kind of a hopping parlay type of thing, right? There's a lot of things you can do with the money. When you transition and merge play styles together, this is what we're talking about. You can do multiple things, not at the same time, but in conjunction or moving around. Tier pressure, my favorite way of playing, right? My favorite hardcore aggressive strategy is exactly this. It's a merge. You're going to go from here to there and back, and here to there and back. You're kind of moving your bets through, always using leveraged profits to make your move, right? That's, again, merging plays. And again, I'll go to the table here and show you some in a minute. But let's look at a roulette example too. In roulette, one of the great combo plays that I really love playing is this one. I forget what Casino Quest called it, but it's my favorite roulette merge play, where you go with a 1 unit bet on the odd or the even. Let's say it's a quarter. Okay, a quarter bet on the odd or the even, or the high or the low, or the red or the black. Doesn't matter what you do, right? Any 50-50 bet. You put a quarter up, let's say $100. $100 is better. Take $100. Boom. It wins $100. Fantastic, right? You take your original 100 plus the 100 that you won, grab 2 dozens. What you've done is you've moved from 50-50 to 66 or so percent, right? You're still going to win 1 unit when that happens, right? If your dozen hits, one of your 2 dozens hits, you lose a bet, but you win 2. Now you have 3 units. You have $300 on the table, right? You stay with the 2 dozens. You take the third $100 and you go to pick a double street, right? Now you got most of and the double street within your dozens. You still have the same coverage. You got 24 numbers covered out of 38 or 37, depending on where you are. You have an extra double street picked. Most of the time, you're going to tie. You're going to hit a dozen, but not your double street. You lose 2, you win 2, you put it right back out there. You tie. When that double street hits, you win 6 units, right? Your net is actually a 7-unit win when that happens. Beautiful thing, right? It's moving between plays, right? It's not just odd or even. It's not just dozens. It's this to that to that. It's a merge play. Again, leveraging your money, moving it around, and bobbing and weaving as we go, right? That's the idea of merging play styles. And again, you can do this with anything, right? You can't do this so much on Bach and roulette or Bach and blackjack because you only have 1 bet you can make. But on the more complex games like roulette and craps, absolutely, you can go from here to there. And I think it goes all the way back to knowing what your options are, right? Same betting here, regressing here, pressing, progression plays, and moving stuff around. All that together, you can craft any kind of a play style that you want to, right? Most professionals, most guys who play kind of on the regular don't do a lot of this kind of stuff. They pretty much have a way they play, and that's what they do. For me, it's the tier pressure, right? That's my chosen path. So let's head to my table. Let's go back over here and let's look at a couple of these things kind of up close. I'm going to switch out to this. Hold on one second. Let me go. Where is the video? There it is. Nope, that's not the one. Sorry, this one here. Table with Keynote. Okay, let's go to the table and look at a couple of these things kind of in real time. So there's my table. Let's switch microphones. Bam, bam. Okay, here we go. Let me show you a couple of these things. And again, I may or may not roll dice because of time constraints, but let's take a look at what we're talking about here. I was showing this in the garage a little bit, but I did like a double move today. We'll do, let's just take and go 160 across on the craps table, 160 across. And here's an interesting way to do this, right? Merging some ways of playing, right? If I go here and I put a bet in the come, okay, I got 160 out, right? Nothing in the rack. I've got a come bet. 160, actually it's 175, 185 is what's out here at risk, okay? Let's just roll, I'll ignore sevens for a minute. There's a 6, okay? Come bet moves to the 6. The 6 gets paid as that number rolls, $35. And of course you bring the bet down. Now what I can do here is this. We can look at this and say, well, I got a nice come bet, right? Basically the $35 pays for the come bet. I can take my $30 on the 6 back to the rack, nice and safe. I can take this $30 back to the rack and say, well, my 8's paid for too, right? I can look at this and say, well, if I take this back, this whole bet's paid for. That's a free bet. It's a free sitting there $25 come bet, right? I got paid on it, right? I got my other bet back in the house. That's a free sitting there, who cares kind of a bet, right? Actually, the nickel comes back too, right? That's a great little idea. You could alternatively just drop a quarter up there on that thing, right? Or 30 bucks, might be a little bet, whatever you want to do. A quarter's fine, right? Drop a quarter on it. And so I'll take the old bet, or I'll take the win, the $35 win, and make it look like odds. Now what I've got in my rack is I got my 6 back in the rack plus $10. So I got this bet with odds, right? That whole thing was 30 bucks and 25 bucks. There's 30 bucks, and I got 10 of the 25 back. This cost me $15 to have $50 in action, right? That little move is a beautiful thing because it puts you out here with a big, massive try with very little risk. You're only risking 15 bucks to win potentially 25 and another 30 bucks over here, right? 6 to 5 on that one. So you're gonna win 35 bucks, or I'm sorry, 55 bucks when this thing hits for a $15 risk. That's a pretty cool thing, right? It's like pressing, I suppose, right? But using, again, the win to leverage a better odds bet. Now, if you got bigger money, then whatever. You know what I'm saying. Actually, that same move done like this is also interesting. Check this out. If I have a $30 6, right? And let's say we did this, a $10 come bet. Now we have 160, 170, it's our total risk. We roll the 6, the 10 goes to the 6. That thing wins 35 bucks. There's my 6, there's my 35 bucks. I can put on here, I can put up to 50 bucks on that, right? Or I could just put the same 25 up on that 10, and I've got my initial money back, right? I got my come bet flat side back. That's a free bet now. That's a totally free bet, right? My initial 6 is back. My initial come bet, the flat part is back in my rack. That was my starting bankroll for this sequence. That's a free bet. Everything here paid for by the win. 25, 35 bucks, that's my win amount. That's a pretty cool little transition move that you can make. And of course you do it across all the numbers. As you're doing that, right? If you get more than one come bet set, this move makes everything free, right? If we can keep on rolling numbers here, there's an 11. Actually, if I was in there for, I'll do another one. If we're in there for the 10 bucks, that 11 would have won, which would have been nice, right? Here's a 5. Again, it goes to the 5. The 5 wins 35 bucks. Comes down. We'll put 30 bucks in odds. And look at that. I got my money from the 5 back. I have half of my come bet back because we had to make the odds even. Pretty cool, right? These are totally free plays. This is a completely free bet. That's transitioning. That's merging a come system with an across system. Okay. If the 7 comes here, right, we're only losing the remaining bets. These are the ones that are at risk until they start paying. If one of these things comes back through, then you're all good. That's one simple transition play that we like, right? There's one. You can take another one. Let's go back to 160. I'll do this again here. Let's get some other, again, I'm just kind of ripping through a couple of quick things here, but let's do the 160 anything, or I can't believe this wins strategy, right? This is the Crappy the Craftsman transition. This is, again, another play. It's basically a same bet on the front and a transition play on the back. Watch this. Well, again, we'll roll the dice. There's a 9. 9 pays $35. Okay. $10 goes into the DC. $25 comes to your rack. That bet is still free and clear. Here's your shot at the 7, right? There's a 10, travels behind the 10. The 10 pays 50 bucks and comes down. Once you have a DC roll up there, you bring the bet down. Look at my rack, by the way. I got 100 bucks in the rack. $10. I had actually 85. I had 90 bucks in the rack. I had 160 out here was my initial risk. 2 rolls in, right? We're doing great. There's an 8. Check this out. Goes behind the 8. 8 pays 35 bucks. 8 comes down. 15 bucks into the come. And I have 100, 25, $145 out of my 160 back in the rack in 2 rolls, right? I've got 2 numbers placed up here, right? Essentially, I'm going to make money on the 7 with these guys, right? A little bit of a transition play. There's a 4, goes to the 4. 4 pays 50 bucks. $10 into the DC, and guess what? There's my initial bankroll. Here's my 150, 160, 50 bucks in profit. I got 3 place bets still sitting here, and I've got 3 come bets or 3 DC bets on the way, right? We've transitioned into a dark side system. No matter what happens now, I'm bringing home 50 bucks, probably going to bring home those, right? Roll it out again. There's a 5. Great. Goes behind the 5. 5 comes down, wins 35 bucks. $10 into the come, $100 in profit. Another 5. Well, that sucks. We lose that. It goes back up, and we just wait it out, right? Again, transitional play, knowing how the DC works, knowing how the place bets work, and moving money around. Killer little grind right there, right? That thing works well. Again, you don't need a hot hand to make it happen. 2-3 rolls in, looking pretty good, right? That's a simple little transition. Now I'll show you the tier pressure system that I like a lot. Here we go. Let's go 160 across again. Tier pressure works like this. We're going to do a full press of whatever hits. Okay, and we're going to take it. And again, this is like a long running system. But again, let's take some of the rolls we had. We had a 5 here. Right? So the 5 hits, it pays $35, right? $35 on the 5. Looks like 50. We'll take 10 back for good measure. Okay, we roll again. We get an 8. 8K is $35. Looks like 60. We'll take 5 back. There's a 4. Great. 4 pays 50. Looks like 75. Okay. 4th hit. Let's avoid the 7. We get a 5. Look at that. 5 pays $70. Now what we do here is this. We go, great. We got 4 hits, right? 4 hits. Let's make a bold move. Let's go to 220 inside. Okay. We'll take everything here. We'll go 220 in. I can actually go 330 inside with what I've earned. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll take all of our money. Go to 330 inside. Right? Bold move here. Bold move here, right? There's a 5 that pays $105. We'll drop a nickel. We'll do 110 pressure on this thing, right? This is going to be, again, combining plays, right? A little across full press, transition to an inside press. Catch an inside number, please, Mr. Dice Man. An 8, fantastic, right? We have $120 on the 8. That pays $140. Right, and the move comes off. We were out there for 160 to start. Right, we can take back the 160, 150, 160. We'll take 160 back to our rack, and we can play with the rest. 10, 20. I'm going to do this. Watch this. We're going to go out here at 320 across. Take these. Double the old bet. $100 in profit, my initial money back. So we do a move, right? We get 4 hits, press, 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 squeeze to the inside, hammer it up, come back down, and we've doubled our spread and do the move again. That's a merge play. That's start across. That's a hammer press. It's a squeeze inside for a 66 style play, right? An inside press and go down. And now you have a double size bet with your money back and $120 in profit sitting in the rack. If you do that move again, if it happens to work again, you catch a 15, 20, 30 roller, right? When that happens again, the next time through, guess what? You're bringing back 250 to the rack. This bet's here turn into 640 across, right? You're using a merge play to hammer a run and still profiting. That's merging systems. That's taking the same bet or a full press or a triple lux even and coming back to something different and getting out of the hand. If I want to be done, by the way, guess what, man? If I want to be done after pulling that move off, which would not be the dumbest thing you could do, 100, 200, 300, 400, and almost $50. That brings back almost a nickel to your rack by merging 2 common ways of playing, right? Full press the number that's coming because it makes sense. Inside press and down because it makes sense. 6 rolls in and you're out with $500, right? From 160. So think about that. That's why I think these merge plays are pretty interesting, right? Now, if we go to the roulette system, I'll show you the roulette system. I don't have a roulette board out here, but I can still show you the moves that I was talking about. We'll have to kind of fake it a little bit, but let's do it. Let's show you what I meant by that. Well, let's pretend that we have a green chip here, right? And we'll put the green chip on, like, I'll put the pass line, okay? Red and black, essentially, okay? Let's say we have a red number come, okay? And we win. That's great. Now I'm going to split it, and I'm going to catch 2 dozens, okay? Let's say one of our dozens hits. We'd lose one of the bets, but you'd win 2 here. Now you got 3 units to play. Go back and get 2 dozens, and I'll put in the field 2 dozens and 1 double street. That's within one of the dozens. If that hits, let's say you hit like the 9 or something, and I'm on that double street, yeah, you'd lose the second dozen, but you win 2 units here. This one here wins 6 units, right? And look at that. You're out of here with 6, 7 units in profit, actually 8 units in profit, because there's your initial bet. Your initial bet was 1 unit. And you walk out of here with 8, 9 units in victory. Again, morphing plays, taking a bet, moving to a better bet, moving to an even better bet, and letting it just kind of happen for you. Those merge plays, I think, are stronger than negative progressions in the short run. You want to try and hit a quick little 1, 2, 3 hitter. Those merge plays, and a smart player walks away when it's done, right? Those are pretty cool, I think. Yeah, and James Newberry is going to chime in here with a really good. I'm actually going to go to I'm going to come back over here. We're going to go to this screen, go to the questions. Actually, I'm going to summarize first, then I'll go to questions. Let's go to this here. 1 second. All right. So the difference between merging and combining, again, in the last lecture we did, we talked about combining bets. We talked about playing this and that at the same time, 2 or 3 play styles at the same time, right? Play a pass line parlay system along with your across bets. Play, some kind of a red and black parlay on the roulette table while you're doing some kind of a crazy thing in the middle, right? Maybe you catch wins on both sides of that. Maybe one pays for one. Maybe you get squeezed out of both, right? But that's playing 2 different things that are unrelated at the same time. That's a combination play. The merge play is this, playing 2 or 3 styles together where you phase them in, you lead one to the other, and you orchestrate sort of this master spread, right? So there's a difference between merging and combining. Combining, I look at as separate things. Merging plays means taking my bets, taking wins, and merging them into other things. And it's a morph kind of a system. There's pros and cons to both, right? The idea of merging stuff in, typically the way I showed you here, you're keeping your initial risk low. Your initial risk is there to pay for other stuff, right? That's the idea of it, right? You merge from this to that, and the to that is generally paid for. When you're combining things like the Red Cross, this or that gets paid, sometimes both, but really you're going to be kind of opposing yourself a little bit until the right thing happens. There's a nuance to it, right? So as you craft your play styles, think about when you're regressing to something else, you're doing a merge play. Make the best merge play you can make, right? Put your money to work for you as best as you can. I want to see you leveraging the wins as much as you can. Leveraging can mean putting them back to work like you would in the investment world. Leveraging your wins can be putting it back in your rack, banking that stuff up and being a smart dude, right? That's both of those things I think are systematically good. So let's hit the questions. I know there was one from James. So the only transition that's worthwhile in my view is across place bets being replaced with come bets using the wins from the place bets for odds, which is what I showed. That's a great transition. I think the transition from place bets to the don't come is also strong, right? Not having a DC bet to start, but going from place bets to the DC, super strong play because you got to pull the bet down to make it work, right? $25 5, when the DC goes to the 5, right? You're pulling back 50, 60 bucks. 10 goes back into the DC, you're bringing back your bet plus a profit every time you're profiting money. That's a great move. It's a great move. That 10 bucks going into the come, also a strong move, right? The thing with the come is that when it gets set, you're kind of not required, but you're kind of pushed into taking the initial bet and jacking up there as odds. When I go from a place bet win to the DC, I don't put the odds up typically because I like the strength of that flat bet a lot more. So those are super strong plays, I think. Mark the point. Hard ways are your merge play. This is a lot like the way that my friend JB plays, right? Our math friend JB, he plays that way. So what he does, his strategy, we did it once. It's called the Jayhawk hammer, I call it. It was 120 inside. He does higher level, but for us, 120. So 30, 30, 30, 30 on the 5, 6, 8, and 9. The 6 and 8, right? When they win, you got your 30 bucks out there, you win 35. The 10 bucks goes right to the hard way. He puts it right onto he takes the initial win to, I think he might even put $5 on the hard ways to start with, but the caps go to the hard ways. And he takes the first one home. The second one, he goes from 60 to 70 or 600 to 700 and takes the entire cap to the hard way. And again, he presses those hard ways up. Every win, the change goes to the hard ways. parlayed or not, he's negatively progressing the hard ways as he goes because he knows when those things happen, bam, they happen. It just you want to leverage that change, so to speak, the red chips in our case. Leverage the change on the hard ways. That's a great merge play. I know you're joking about that kind, but that's a great merge play, right? Because you're taking profits and you're putting them at. It's like taking your profit from the S&P 500 and throwing it into Bitcoin. Like taking like 10% of your S&P profit and going, I'm just gonna light it on fire, throw it into Bitcoin. Maybe it goes gangbusters, maybe not, but it was only 10% of it. That's kind of what that play is. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful system that he's got. And I incorporate that a lot when I'm doing it. I just don't go at that level, but I love taking my change and racking the hard ways up. It's great. Skill says most players will whine and say it's too much grinding. It probably is too much grinding. I whine about grinding, right? But again, the grind, to me, the grind is meaningful when it's meaningful, right? If I'm there and I know I'm going to put in hours, I'm on a cruise ship and I'm trying to like earn the points and put in time. If I'm there with friends and we're going to play for hours tonight, I've got to grind, right? That's what I say to you all the time. Like everybody has got to hear these words. This is so important to say, right? These core ways of playing, starting small, starting medium, starting high, right? These core ways of styling your play, you tune these things to what you're trying to do. If I'm trying to get out quick and go home, right? I'm not going to run a positive or progression, right? I'm not going to sit here and hope to God I get 5 in a row. That's not a in and out kind of a play. If I know I'm going to be here forever with buddies, I'm going to do a negative progression and I'm going to like lowball it. I'll go $25 bet. I'm not going to negatively progress 25, 50, 100, right? I'm going to go 25, 30, 35, 20, 25% little caps as I go, right? We're going to slow us. You grind purposefully and don't whine about it. Again, that's okay. It's totally okay to have those systems in your back pocket. I think having that stuff in your back pocket is critical. It is critical. Otherwise, you're out there blasting 320 across every shooter all day long. And what happens, Ryan? What happens when you see 4 PSOs on a crapless table in a row, like I know you saw in Biloxi? When you're blasting across every single time, that's gonna happen to you. When you know you're there to play for a long time, for a long run, right? Change that up a little bit so you can play longer. That's where the grinding comes in. I think it's totally good, right? There you go. What else do we have? I'm gonna check more comments, but I gotta get to work. Skill says we do miss you. No more house buying. Yeah, I know you're joking. I again, it'll be a week. It'll be a week with no shows. I'm gonna need it. Unpacking all that stuff. I'm just gonna need it. So, let's see. I just want you to pay for a room. Is there a room for you there? Oh, there you go. Thank you, Dan. That's awesome. We should be fine though. I think we're fine. I think I stay at Palace. Palace is even if I pay for it, it's $35 a day. It's not even that expensive. So, yeah, you transitioned inside place bets with the come in the Horseman, right? That was your version of the Horseman, right? 44 inside with the Horseman. As those come bets go up, they pay for themselves. That's a beautiful thing, man. When bets pay for themselves, it's awesome. All right, let me get out of here, guys. It is Friday. We are done for the week. I don't even know what next week's going to be about yet. I think I'm looking at, we've done most everything. We've done all the play styles. We've done all the examples. We've done all the merging and morphing and combining. I'm going to talk about phased play a little bit next week. And I've got the next set of shows. And I've got a couple more things I want to get us into in the 401 series, which is, again, about phasing play, about using your bankroll, about mindset. I want to get back to mindset a little bit and really define like which of these systems that we're talking about or which of these concepts fit your bankroll and fit your goals best. Now we're going to try and like, how do we stitch together all this knowledge and say, I want to win this. I'm going to play it this way, most likely. And which way is orthogonal to that? If I want to get this goal, this way is never going to hit it, or this way is going to undershoot it. So we want to start getting things that kind of match up. And that's what we'll talk about. What's best for what situation. Situational play, I think, is on the docket next. So with that said, have a great weekend, everybody. God bless all of you. Love every one of you. And I appreciate your being here with me and hanging out and for all the time and the eyeballs. Y'all are awesome. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.